Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to 44 Stack. I am Antonio Long, and I'm joined with my co-host tonight, West Coast Dave. How you doing, brother?
Chilling, man. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Happy
Had a
New
little
Year to you.
hiatus. Welcome back. So
Oh yeah, oh
looking
yeah.
forward to a new season.
We took the holiday off, so ain't nothing wrong with that. You can do that when it's your show. You know what I mean? But waiting on Kelsey to come on. If he comes, we'll jump right on into it. But we're gonna go ahead and get started. We missed the beginning of the playoff. Well, we didn't miss the beginning. We was in contact. We just didn't do a show. But before we get started on the playoff, just one thing. And we talked about this. We discussed this. There's a lot of turmoil in the sports world right now. You know what I mean? Um, and all I'm saying is to the folks at ESPN and the folks at FS1 and Fox, you wouldn't have that problem if you give us a shot. All right. Not
Just one
saying,
shot.
you're not saying, but see, here's the thing. We too old for that kind of carrying on. That's number one. And then number two, the whole focus is about football and whatever else y'all want us to talk about. We ain't trying to get ahead. All we just want is 2 hours. You give me 2 hours a week, 2 hours a day on every day, we'll give you a dynamite show. All you gotta do is listen to us, because one of the things that I've been privileged to for these 2 weeks that I've been sitting home during the holiday is looking at content that so-called sports journalists put out. And I can be honest with you, we do a much better show, and we are bare bones.
Plus one to all that. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
anybody that listens, because I know you listen because we see it, pass it along. You know what I'm saying? Again, not gonna bring up the situation, but I will say,
Hey, all those names that have coast to coast, and we are really coast to coast.
we are
So,
true coast to coast.
so
You know
we
what I'm
are
saying?
true coast to
I
coast.
got my man on the left coast.
So,
I'm so glad he's in the Washington area and not in California, because right now, praying
oh,
for y'all in Cali, because
yes.
that looks like a
Ooh,
monster.
yeah.
Uh, it's rough. Praying for y'all. Hope y'all come out of that safe, because I mean, I saw some 100-mile-an-hour winds, man. So you got the winds going,
Exactly.
and you in the valley, so you know how that is.
And
Uh,
I was telling you about that thing we had in November, that bomb cyclone thing,
yeah,
power, and that was like 85. I can't imagine, and we in that valley. I can't imagine 99 running through and a fire,
and a
like,
fight. You know
and
what
a
I
fire.
mean? That
Mm.
and you already know, because they in the valley, the smoke hovers over the top, so that just makes it worse.
Yep,
So
yep.
yeah, y'all do whatever y'all need to do. Stay safe. Now I will put this disclaimer out there for this one here. I see people worried about where you gonna put your pets. I'm just gonna be real on this one. Damn them pets. You can get another dog. Don't lose your life because roof we ain't got no place to go. That's the craziest thing. And I see people actually worried about where your pets are going. Y'all can say we wrong, but I'm just saying, we grew up in the South, so we understand what an animal is. Okay.
Yes.
You can replace an animal. You can't replace yourself.
And
Stop
replace
worried about these
and
pets.
with that dog, like you said, you can like for 1 second. Oh, the dog. Well, good luck. Keep yourself safe.
Just do it like that. That's the only way I see it.
That's
I
it.
mean, it's crazy to me, but people love their pets. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
say I
I
love
got a dog
mine.
that I love, but if it come down to me and the damn dog, it's me.
It ain't gonna be us. I can tell you
Yeah.
that. And then while we bracing for it, they calling for how we do when they say snow around here. So
Oh
uh,
man.
they looking for snow Friday, I believe, Thursday night, Friday morning here. Of course, everything already off the shelves in the store. We don't play that. You got to have your bread and your milk. I've never understood what the milk was for, but if the power go out,
Yeah.
never understood that one. I can understand the bread because we can make bologna. As long as you got some charcoal or some gas, you can make bologna. So
That's it. That's it.
yeah. All
And we
right.
got plenty of
So
sticks for wood.
oh yeah. Hey, you remember when we used to have the wood stove in the
Oh
house?
yeah, yeah, exactly.
We ain't never worried about that.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
anyway, now kids today don't know nothing about that. That's how we grew up. That's how we understood. As long as you had wood or kerosene, you could cook. All right. So let's talk about this college, get it started. First of all, congratulations, North Dakota State. No one, if you don't follow football, no one really, really understands how big this dynasty is for North Dakota State. They won their 10th championship Monday night, beating Montana State, who had been number one all year, hadn't lost a game all year. Great game, 38-35. But again, North Dakota State, they're on I want to say this is the third coach in those 10 championships because I think the other coach, the last coach that was there, he is currently, I want to say, at Kansas.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And
And you see,
another thing, shout out to 44 Stack Out Podcast. We consistently talked about North Dakota State, South Dakota State, and Montana State and Montana. Remember?
yeah,
And what other independent podcast actually talks or even knows about that type of thing? So just another plug for this.
just another plug for us. I understand.
Yeah.
I will say, and going into the 2025 season, whoever's stupid enough to put any Dakota on their schedule, don't.
Yeah.
Let's just be real about it. Any Dakota that is on your schedule has potential to cause you a tremendous amount of pain. Ask Colorado from the first of the year, even though they did win, North Dakota State probably should have won that game.
Yes,
North Dakota State, South Dakota State, Montana State, and Montana have always been good. So,
and another little one, we talked about is the Cooper Cup. What's the name? Eastern Washington.
Eastern Washington.
They'll do it once every 3 or 4. But yeah. But shout out, you're right though. Shout out to them, man. That is a dynasty. They are, and actually people don't know too. Basketball.
Yeah,
they are pretty good.
Yeah, they
North Dakota State.
North Dakota State and South Dakota State in basketball right now. I think that's the Ohio River Valley Conference. They are the dominant. They are the dominant team in that conference. So I mean, it is what people come to expect from them. Even though they're a lower tier, they are on par from a championship standpoint with Alabama in the last 15 years or so. They've been completely dominant, and there is some rumblings that they're gonna move up to 1A. I don't think that's a good idea, but I mean, everybody wants a piece of that money, so you know how that goes.
Outside of the tragedy at App State, just what happened in the area.
Yeah,
I think if you follow that kind of blueprint, you can be successful, incrementally. And like I said, just App State also, shout out, they're still recovering too in that area, for those folks there. But, without that devastation, they were on track to be, bringing in that, I'm not going to say at that level, but building to that level of success in 1A. Yep.
Well, App State was, when they were still in 1AA, they was winning all the championships before North Dakota State started. So when they moved up, now one of the things about App that was good, when they moved up, they started running the Sun Belt. Now they had a rough year this year, but really most of the teams that were dominating 1AA have ended up in the Sun Belt. And if you pay attention to Sun Belt football is pretty decent.
Yeah.
So I think once they get back on their footing, I think a lot of things went wrong this year. There was a lot of stuff, not just the weather and everything. A lot of things went wrong in that conference. Just because Troy had a down year, which was abnormal for them. Yeah. Coastal had a down year. App had a down year. And now you got James Madison kicking everybody's tail.
Yeah. And
they just came up.
I made an appearance at the Myrtle Beach Bowl, UTSA.
Oh, you was there? I watched.
So let me tell you, now, so when you say there, let me tell you there means 15 minutes because it was a total annihilation and beat.
Oh, yeah.
I was not going to say in that cold because that was the week it was cold. I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
we are going heading back to the house there. But yeah, I did, just take a look at it. Yeah.
yeah. I saw when it came on, and then I was like, "What are y'all doing?" Because they was, I think it was like 28 nothing quick,
Yes. Yeah, man. That was
and
yeah.
and it never got better. And I was like, "What is going on?" But that's been the key of the bowl games all year. There were only a handful of bowl games that were worth paying attention to. We had a few that went to double, triple, quadruple overtime.
Yeah.
Those were some good games, but we're gonna get into that when we talk about the college football playoff because I think really uh, the future we see how it's gonna go. Okay. Before we
I
get
have a
into that,
take on that too. So I'm
yeah,
I'm I'm excited to get to that one.
yeah.
Yep.
Before we get on that, we had big news here in the state of South Carolina this week. Wes Goodwin was fired by Dabo as defense coordinator for Clemson. Let me hear your thoughts before I give you mine.
Uh, that's it. I am happy. I am glad that is over. And look, today I read in the news we got that transfer from Alabama.
Yeah.
So look at the goodness that is that this is causing. So clap, I man, when I tell you over the top, man, I am all that. What I am a little concerned about is who Dabo chooses as the replacement. I haven't seen nothing. You're closer. Who is the favorite? And this is a question to you. And what do you think there on the hiring process?
Well, there hadn't been any rumblings yet of who he is looking at. Nobody has said who's been on campus or if Dabo's been out looking at somebody. He has to get someone to get back to that Brent Venables type of defense. Uh, I don't know. Now, one of the things I didn't agree with, Wes Goodwin was a defensive analyst for Clemson. Now, I'm all about promoting from within, but you got to
Sure.
promote from within for people uh, that you feel like can really, really do the job. Now, he didn't do a terrible job, but it wasn't Clemson defense.
Yeah.
I think we harped on it all year um, about not making adjustments when adjustments was necessary. Once you saw a team figure out what you were trying to do, you didn't do
Yeah.
anything to negate that at some point. And then plus just some of the players. Now, Clemson's defensive line is one of the best defensive lines in the country.
Yeah.
Cannot take that away from them. But you were sorely lacking, even though you had the ACC Rookie of the Year at linebacker. You were sorely missing that linebacker. Even
Yeah.
you had a senior in Barrett Carter that didn't live up to the potential he had showed in his early years at Clemson this year. Didn't make enough plays. And then your DBs, you got two outstanding DBs, but if you're on an island all the time, the expectation should be that you getting pressure on defense on the
Yes.
quarterback, and that
Yeah.
didn't happen enough for Clemson.
And
Uh,
yeah. And that's when you say going back to the Venables way. You have to. It's imperative. If you stick quarters out on the dollar, you create either pressure with the front four or get creative with the front seven
right,
or safety. But you have to get pressure to, and I saw none of that. Second part, our second halves, it's not even about adjustments. Even when we were doing well, we didn't even stick with were doing well in the previous half.
right,
So I just question just that whole strategy that he had going there. And then, like I said, Carter not living up to potential,
right,
freshman. But what I am, like I said, looking forward to is at least Dabo is showing me he can make adjustments, reaching
right.
out to the transfer portal. He is updating his ways of doing things. And usually he would have let the Godwin thing go about 2 years or
2
so.
years. Yeah,
Exactly, but he recognized. So
yeah. He
that's another
recognized.
thing. Yep, yep,
Uh, the other thing about it is now I've seen some folks talk about trying to get a Brent Venables type or somebody that knows Venables defense. Well, Wes Goodwin knew Venables defense. He had been there the whole time. Uh, just because you know the defense don't mean you can call the defense. And that's the
Exactly.
difference between a Brent Venables and a Wes Goodwin. Brent would call the defense. You have to dictate to certain teams. Now, it did fall apart. Now, one of Brent's worst games was the championship game against LSU. But
Yeah.
again, let's be real about this here. Look at that team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Justin Jefferson, uh, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow. I mean, it was too many to try to guard at any point in time. But even with that, if Clemson offensively doesn't turn the ball over, this is a game.
That's what they up to nothing. You don't turn
Right.
the ball over.
You
You
turn the ball
run
over.
maintain it. They're gonna hit big because you
Right.
named what potentially 3 Hall of Famers, right?
Right. Right.
So yeah, but I'm with you. It's play calling,
It's
and
play
it
call.
looked like Godwin at time was more interested in not making Dabo mad as opposed to being aggressive. One thing I would say about Venables is he's gonna be aggressive regardless whether Dabo wanted him to be or not in situation. Because I've seen them, you can tell they were in it on the sideline. God was like, he is not going to make the controversial call to me, which sometimes is needed, to
Right.
get that big play or that
Right.
turn, so yeah.
Well, you look at you've lost 2 of the last 3 years to Carolina. And in this state, that's blasphemy because of the fact Clemson is the big dog, Carolina is the little brother. Always have been, always will be. Regardless, they in the SEC. Brent Venables destroyed Carolina when he was here as a defense coordinator. They couldn't even get past the 50 a couple of years in a row. Now Wes Goodwin, I mean, we done lost 3-point games to Carolina just because you not making the adjustment. Lenore Sellers went off against us running the football, and wasn't nobody killing him because I mean somebody's supposed to have smacked him. That was the whole point of it. So I hope they get somebody because honestly, I feel like from what we saw against Texas in the playoff, there's an opportunity in the next year or two for Clemson to get themselves in the right position. Now, a lot of it was a bad matchup against Texas, only because we had to go to Texas, which was not the best thing. And we're gonna talk about that eventually, how this thing should play out in the playoff and see where we go from there. Coop Dog, what's up, baby?
Fellas, my bad. I thought it was 8 o'clock. I'm downstairs baking a cake. We'll talk about that later though. But yeah.
Man, I'm hungry too, man. What kind of cake is it?
How you
Pound
go?
cake?
How you go? Just come on here with that?
And is it a
red,
lemon pound cake? I got
red,
I got specific ass questions.
red velvet cheesecake.
That is also my shit because of the Golden Girl. Yes, sir.
Yeah. That's my specialty.
See,
red velvet cheesecake and key lime
up, cake. Man. That's jacked up. I know you're getting ready for the playoff tomorrow, but
yeah. Oh yeah. Now I'll be at the bowling alley watching that. But
okay. All right. Before we get into that, Coop, since you are a distinguished alumni of Clemson University, the West Coast firing this week, how you feel? Which way you think Dabo's going?
Don't know. I've actually kind of checked out once Clemson lost. One of my coworkers today was telling me about it. So it's going to be interesting to see. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know who's out there who'd be willing to come because the problem is I understand what Dabo is trying to do, build old school, develop players as they go, but I don't know with everybody's on this win now, don't know. Don't know which way he's going to go. I have no idea.
I mean, like we talked about today, he got the linebacker coming in from Alabama, which, I mean, he's in the portal now. So that was one of the gripes. That's been one of the gripes around here. You got to get in the portal. But even without that, Dabo's doing a good enough job recruiting. You just got to put him in the right situation, man. So that's what is necessary.
And this may be the perfect storm next year and the positive for Clemson. Because Clemson, that continuity pays off to me in year 3. I'm always in year 3 on continuity. So that next year, plus, I agree with T said, Dabo is adapting. Now you add the one or two. See, I believe and I'm gonna call Clemson we because I've been a fan for such a damn long time. Um, we because of the way that system has happened, is if you hit on one or two, you will take off hard, as opposed to the other teams who are really relying on the transfer portal. And what happened with that this year is, like I said, you need to mesh at that defensive and offensive line point. And it bit Miami in the ass. It bit Florida State in the ass.
Yep.
And it will come back because just 1 year in that and going for gold, if you don't have, like, to me, the Clemson base, I don't believe that kind of leads to much. Because even if you look at Texas, right, who's waiting to be beat? Texas is a homegrown team, meaning it's more recruits. It ain't all a lot of transfer portal stuff. It is with a sprinkle in. That, to me, is the way that, and that's why I think Clemson may be able to hit on a perfect storm next year with year 3 and Dabo now adjusting to the new day and age.
Yeah, that's why I was hoping they could have beat Texas. If they just got that one win and make it into the 8, around the 8, I think that would have spoke more volume as to what Dabo was doing. It would have shined a brighter light. Because I think with most of your teams now, maybe I don't know how heavy Ohio State was in the poll.
Oh, they heavy.
100% sure.
They heavy.
They heavy. So, they heavy.
Remember, they got to replace the quarterback.
But
that's true.
The thing about
if Dabo could have done that, we'd have been.
I mean, Oregon has to replace a quarterback.
Well, here's the thing.
Quarterback.
The thing about Ohio State, though, Ohio State has they got a lot of transfers, but they got a perfect mix of homegrown too.
Yeah.
And that's why they're so. But they were highly they recruit pretty high anyway, and then you go get. But see, the thing about going to the portal, you got to go get what you need. Don't just go get somebody.
Right.
Yeah.
So you could be like Florida State. Florida State had a whole team full of transfers. That's why they were 2-12.
Exactly.
You cannot do that and think you gonna think a whole team full of transfers is gonna win. You got to be able to still recruit. You still got to be able to go get what you need, because maybe somebody ain't panning out. Go get what you need. Bring them in. If they don't start, that's still depth that you got. But you got to identify. It's just like free agency in the NFL. Go get what you feel like you need. You ain't got to go get the biggest superstar, but do he fit what you do? If Dabo can hit like that, keep the offensive line intact, which was an improvement this year, because honestly, the offensive line had been a problem. The defensive line already takes care of itself. So the biggest thing is, now that you've made this move at defensive coordinator, you should put yourself fairly into where you need to be. You only lost to Texas because it got away from you early. It got away from you early. But you were able to turn it around if you could have made one play. The other thing, the receivers are going to be good. The freshmen stepped up toward the end of the year. They're gonna be something to deal with. Only thing is, you got to make sure you get a decent backup, because if K goes down, we're gonna be in trouble, because we don't have the quarterback.
You don't like Vincenzo? You don't like?
He all right. It's just when you've been spoiled with Deshaun and Trevor and Kelly Bryant. You've had that backup sitting there waiting, and right now we don't have that, and that's the problem.
So in your limited, and like I said, y'all are closer to me, in the limited spot duty I've seen, he's not bad, and he's a 5-star. So what I'm guessing, what is it about him? Because to me, he hasn't had his chance yet. But to me, it sounds like he ain't, even when he get his chance, and that's why I'm asking, even when he get his chance, you saying it ain't going to be nothing to look at. Because
I watched him early in the year against, I want to say,
App State?
No, not them. The game after App State. I believe that was North Carolina.
Okay.
And, Clemson jumped out quick, and he played basically the whole second half. Now, it might have been because Garrett just kind of toned stuff down, But I'm so used to Clemson beating the snot out of you until the game just about over. And that's what I'm not seeing consistently enough last year, just because even when you put in your second string is supposed to still play like your first string. And that's how it was prior to these last few years. When Kelly Bryant got in, when he was backing up Trevor, when he was backing up, it always, the offense still continued to hum, and we just didn't see that this year. And that's the concern I have with him. And it might be just because, they just didn't want to. But see, Dabo used to be notorious for running the score up on you. And we made this argument back when the Florida State game. They should have beat Florida State by 5 touchdowns. They played around. And you can't have that.
Yeah, because one of the other things is with the high school quarterbacks, the 5 stars. If you are looking at Oregon and Ohio State, always in Miami, Florida State, they're always in the transfer portal for the quarterback, as opposed to recruiting the quarterback. That to me also is a positive, because Texas like for Clemson and also Texas, because I do put Texas in there as homegrown. I wonder what kind of cascade effect in the future that's going to have when high school 5 stars starting to make decisions. Because Ohio State has to replace that quarterback next year. Is it going to be a transfer portal, or do they have the 5-star? And really, when and Gabriel from Oregon, he also
he's gone. He's gone.
And so these quarterbacks then, and I'm pretty sure they'll probably hit the transfer portal for the replacement. And so those schools start to be out because they just going to try to replace with the star. Well, portal at that point.
Well, Ohio State has a decent backup. The only problem with Ohio State is you never know how good he is, because they beat up on people so bad, and then they just really just hand the ball off after they get up by so much. They're never going to
be willing to deal with a freshman quarterback. See, I don't know. I think they've outgrown that. I know this sounds bad because I'm gonna treat it like the pros, because it is the pros now.
Basically,
I don't know if Ohio State can get away anymore with growing pains of a true freshman quarterback. I don't know if I don't know if the expectation. I think all of that now is times 10 on schools like that.
Well, here's the thing you got to worry about with the portal. And you see it with the young kid that went to Southern Cal, and he went to Boise State this year, and then he's already left Boise State. Here's the thing. You cannot learn how to play quarterback by moving every year, because one of the hardest things in the world, and I'm just being real about it, is learning the offense. And if you got to learn multiple offenses over a 2 or 3 year span, that's not the most prudent way to look at something.
You look at
have some that can come in and pick up, very easily. But then if you have these complex type offenses with multiple formations, it's going to be a struggle.
Well, that's any position.
It's the same issue we got in the NFL.
Yeah, more so a quarterback, but that's any position on the college level, because our process is not the same as a seasoned pro or someone who's been around for a while. So there's still that learning curve. Yeah, other positions will be a little bit faster. Yeah, unless you're just that stud, do you really do yourself any favor by transferring, or you money?
Well, that leads us into the discussion about the portal right here. The portal, the teams that relied heavily, we've already established, struggled with it. But the teams that can go pick and choose 1 or 2 handful of players, whatever, those are going to be the teams that are more well off by utilizing the portal. One of the things I've also noticed, and I didn't realize this until I did the numbers, about 40% of the people that goes into the transfer portal don't get picked up.
Yeah, I can see that. It's like going pro or whatever.
They don't get picked up.
We always hear about the stars. Yeah, we don't hear about the common man.
Right.
You basically pissing away your scholarship for greener pastures that may not be there. If somebody comes and cherry picks you, that's one thing. But if you just putting your name in there because you're not getting playing time, a lot of times there's no place for you.
Right.
And I think the premise behind the portal is good from a certain aspect, but if you're a player that know you need to develop, now some of them they just do what they want to do, or you got somebody in their ear, man, you need to go play somewhere else. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I know you
To
better.
me,
I
that's
know you better than
stupid.
such and such. I know you better. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just stupid, because here's the thing. If you're able enough to get that scholarship in the first place, you need to stay there and help your own self by doing what they ask you to do. Now, if you're playing behind a guy, both y'all are freshmen when y'all come in, he outperforming you, and you know you ain't gonna never see the field, yeah, you get up and go. But before you get up and go, make sure you got some place to go.
Yeah.
There's too many of them right now. They throw their name in the portal. You're not going nowhere, bro. You're not.
Yeah. I'm just, like I said, I'm interested to see how, especially now that we're getting into the super teams and the teams that are now the Pittsburghs and the Dallas Cowboys of the league, whatever we call
Of
the
course.
FBS.
Yeah.
Can they afford to have the patience to develop a freshman quarterback? Because if I'm thinking about Ohio State, CJ Stroud was recruited there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so him, but before that it was Fields, and now it's been like the recruit. And then Oregon, when is the last time Oregon has had a quarterback that they actually recruited before, after Mariota? I can't remember.
I can't remember who even Herbert. Herbert was after Mariota, so
Okay,
Herbert might be the last one they recruited.
Yeah, and Michigan always is a recruiter.
Well, you see what happened in Michigan this year. How Sherrod. Now I will let me ask Sherrod for forgiveness because I did say he should have been fired earlier this year. But Sherrod won 8 football games, and I ain't figured out yet how because he ain't got that quarterback. Bruh, he got a stone statue back there. Ain't no way he should have won no 8 games. But I give him credit. He coached his tail off. He beat Ohio State. All of that. So I think what you're gonna see is what we've already seen years and years and years. Once this plays out, your teams that have good foundations from a coaching standpoint, teams that have the backing of the athletic department, and they do things. I don't want to call it the right way, but they do things that keep them consistent. Those are going to be the teams that you see. Everybody crying and moaning about the playoff because boys, I think it's the greatest thing.
Man, me too. I like seeing games I like seeing the white out, the blue out, because that is, man, the most thing I was looking forward to is Happy Valley and all of them daggone white t-shirts. All of the pomp and circumstance of college football, those games being played, man, I love this. I absolutely love it.
It may now people gonna cry and moan because SMU and Boise State, basically everybody that lost the first round kind of got overwhelmed except Clemson by playing on campus, which is gonna happen anyway. If you play on campus, that's the whole purpose of playing on campus. You know what I mean? The other issue I have is when you go to the quarterfinals and you playing them in the bowl games. I honestly believe, this is just my opinion, the bowl system should just completely go away. Or if you're going to have the bowls are for everybody that don't make the playoff.
Right.
If you're going to have the bowls. So you still have the bowls for the teams that don't make the playoffs, but I envision this, I would say go to 16. Honestly, get rid of that bye. Even though you get there, you go to 16, the top 8 have home field advantage, and you continue on. You go to 16, and just see how it goes, man. I don't want to play the bowl games. They don't need to be in the bowl games. Those games need to be on campus. I say you don't play a true neutral site game until you get to the championship game.
That made my point. That's all I was waiting to hear. Yeah. I think every game should be at the campus until, just like the Super Bowl, it goes to wherever we want it. Atlanta, Arizona, wherever we do it. But I totally agree with that. We should bring this out. I don't care if they keep it at 12 or 16. I'm really not married to that. I am
Well,
married to every game should be on campus until the final game.
Well, the only reason I say go to 16, so that way it make it even and you get rid of that bye. Because one of the things, Georgia having played SEC championship and then you don't play no more until New Year's Day. That's too long. That's 3 weeks, man. That's 3 weeks. And honestly, I don't know if you got representative of what you should have had with the Georgia Notre Dame game last week because they had such a break. Now, even with Arizona State, because Scatterboo, if they wouldn't have had a break, I believe Arizona State might be playing for this championship, honestly. Now, what did Arizona State in was whoever the defense coordinator was in overtime. I don't know what he was thinking. But there's no way a man should get behind you on the first play from scrimmage. But you let it happen. That's why you lost. But to say that Arizona State didn't deserve the bye was ridiculous. The only thing, like I say, it's just too long between championship weekend and New Year's Day. New Year's Day doesn't have to have the stars. If you start this, just like the championship game Monday night for 1AA, they played, I want to say the Sunday before Christmas, the weekend before Christmas. They had 2 weeks off before the championship game. And you saw what type of championship game there was Monday night with just 2 weeks off. That's how I feel like, and that's regular Super Bowl, 2 weeks is 2 weeks off. So that's why I feel like if you go to 16, you start right after the championship game. So that'll be right. They do finals that week. It ain't like they ain't taking the test no way. So what difference do it make? You know.
So mine is totally different on the losses. I don't put it on the buys. I see it as the heavier teams won. As I went and looked at the teams, SMU, until they get heavy, they're not going to win against Penn State because by the third quarter, them boys are huge. And they just laid on them, and you don't have a chance. Secondly, I think we have an SEC bias. I never thought Georgia was going to beat Notre Dame. I always thought Notre Dame would win that game, and I'll tell you why. Georgia has been waiting to be beat all season. They have absolutely no offense. They have been waiting to be beat and Notre Dame is a very bad matchup for them, and I'll go back to heavy. They are so damn heavy that run game that you depend on, you ain't pushing them cats forward. They are a big-ass defense. So what they relied on, and they have totally, and it's catching up to Kirby. Kirby is the master of defense, but this offensive inefficiency he has going on for the last, say, 2.5 years or so, it's catching up. So for me, the Georgia game is you met a heavier defensive line that you could not maul forward, and you have a freshman quarterback, let's admit it, and you got him can't get the ball out. Then SMU, Penn State, just I'm going to this thing right quick. Arizona State and Texas, hell of a game. But again, if you look at it, Texas is another. They can afford mistakes because they are just a heavy-ass team, and they got playmakers on the outside. So that's what I'm saying. To me, these losses, Boise State, again, meant a bigger team. Boise is meant for I watch them all the time. They're a little team that run fast around the field. But you get them against Big Ten, SEC, upper echelon, three ACC schools, right? They're not made for that. They're made for that turf and all of that they're on. So I see it as football reason that those teams lost as opposed to just attributing it to the bye. Because you're putting that Georgia quarterback in a bad situation. Freshman, no experience. And to go win a playoff game?
Yeah. Well, when Carson Beck got hurt, you pretty much, if he would have been playing, I don't think Georgia would have been okay. Because Georgia hadn't been okay all year. No. SMU, if you look at, there are still things football-wise that prevented SMU. If SMU would have scored on that first drive, that's a totally different game. But you went down there and you fumbled. And that killed all momentum at that point. Because if you would have scored, you would have been up 7-0. Penn State already And you go see that when Penn State play Friday. They play Friday or tomorrow.
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
Okay. Notre Dame has no offense now. All Notre Dame want to do is run the football. Okay. Because Riley Leonard cannot throw. Okay. So if they get punched in the mouth quick, Penn State gonna fold like a sheep. We already know that. Know that. If they get down 10-0, Penn State is not coming back.
We get the black coach in the championship game. So that is the one thing I'm excited about Thursday. We at least get to have one, and that has never happened in the history of college football. So I'm very excited about that.
I'm excited about it, but my only thing about that is I hope it's Marcus Freeman and not James Franklin, because James Franklin cannot beat Ohio State. He will not beat Texas. Marcus Freeman can beat Ohio State, and he can beat Texas. I would, even though they Notre Dame, and I'm not, before anybody says we homers because they part, quote unquote, of the ACC. No, it's just, you understand, James Franklin benefited by playing Boise State because that's his only win against a top 10 school. His only win against a top 10 school. He benefited. Had they had to play a Clemson, if they had to play a Georgia, if they had to play a Oregon, wouldn't even been close. Wouldn't even been close.
But see, saying that though, T, is not. We can say that about anything. I mean, yes, you are right. You play your season towards those, to be at the end, and you play who you play. So you may be right, because I have another thing. We have gotten so used to the dirty owning the national championship. In the new NIL era, and a guy was telling me, so, I came home, right? And me and wife, we went to Planet Fitness to work out. And I happened to talk to a cat in Conway about NIL because he was mad, I like to engage. And so I was talking to him about this. And one of the things he said is people are not going to fully realize those Big Ten schools have this long, old ass money. Yeah. And what they are going to start doing is, as you see, maybe like in the Lenore Sellers, right? Yeah. They are going to start coming and a poaching. And what he said was the state of South Carolina, resource-wise, and other states, like they don't have, no matter what they do, the capacity, and it's a rant against the whole NIL thing. No matter what the state of South Carolina do, they will never be able to compete against an Ohio State and a Michigan or a Texas when they come a call. It's just because the money is so long and so old. And I think there's getting ready to be I'm not going to say check, but it's going to even out to where it's not owned, because Oregon and these schools, like Phil Knight, will do whatever it takes, as long as he's alive, to make sure. And the states that I just named combined, they got Phil Knight money. So that's what he was saying is the smaller schools in the SEC and the smaller states, they are going to become poaching ground for the bigger schools with the bigger and the longer money and the bigger booster set. And
I agree with that to a point. Because one of the things that is still an important factor that nobody is really, really talking about, you ain't want to go up there playing that cold, bro. That's just all it is to it. And if you can be, and you still want to be someplace where my mama and daddy can go watch me play. If you from Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi, Alabama,
these kids about the bag, dog.
Some of them are. Some of them are.
Here's the thing too, though. What you don't realize, the parents went into stands before NIL and before transfer portal, no matter how far away they are.
Well,
Boosters going to find a way to make it happen.
Well, here's the thing that I think is going to kind of help the situation now. After the basketball season next year, not next year, after this year's basketball season, revenue sharing starts in the Power Four. And
I did not know that. Thank you.
Yeah, revenue sharing starts. And I think it's based on every school is supposed to have, and this was the rule that they put in. Every school has $22 million established to them if you're in a Power Four conference. Okay. Now, doesn't mean you got to spend all that $22 million on your players, but you got $22 million at your disposal to do what you feel like you need to do. Now that's separate from NIL money. Okay, this is coming from the universities themselves, so that's separate. So once you add in NIL money plus the 22 million, some of these schools, your bigger schools in the South, the ones that are dominant and have always been dominant, are still going to do what they do. Okay, yeah, you might have schools from up north come and poach, but they're not coming to poach 15 players. It's not going to happen, because you know just as well as I know. Yeah, you might not have field night money, but if you in the state of Texas, man, I got all money. If you go to Arkansas, guess what? Man, we need to keep this kid here in Arkansas.
I agree with Texas. Arkansas will become a picking ground for Texas.
But let me tell you.
That is how this is. And it's not even a picking ground thing. What I am saying is, as you go and these contracts are offered for these ridiculous NIL, things that these quarterbacks, like Michigan, for example, you guys flipped a Southerner.
You flipped it
on the LSU, and he's a dirty South Cat. And see, this is why, what you said is I'm seeing. He was there, and he's from the dirty. Yeah. But somehow you flipped, and I know why you flipped him. And I was in the news. They got the bag to flip. And Michigan has more money than any school in the SEC not named Texas.
Well, here's going to be where the problem comes up. If this boy don't perform on that $10 million, they're going to be less likely to offer that kind of money to go up there.
They have that money, though.
Yeah,
but Michigan $10 million. For them,
I know it's a drop in the bucket, but the thing is this here. Okay, are you going to pay 15 fellas to come from the South to go up north?
But if you, like you said, though, those key positions. Because if you're a lineman, right, offensive lineman, you playing in the cold order, Michigan don't matter. I mean,
but see, the thing about it though, Michigan been recruiting in the South for years. They not coming down here to get offensive linemen. They coming down here. They're coming up here. They're coming down here to get skill position players or DBs. Yeah. They're not coming to get linemen. They get their linemen from the Midwest. I'm gonna go pull a kid out of Iowa that been bench pressing hogs all his life. I ain't trying to get nobody from down here.
And then how you said you don't want to go play in the cold. Another thing why I said the trophy is going to start to be dispersed. The games, if they stay on campus, now you got to go play maybe in that late blizzard condition at Penn State or that thing at Michigan or that thing. So that works both ways. You get good weather if the SEC, and see with the SEC school, because they're probably going to lose more just because of how the conference goes, they're going to probably have to go to Penn State. They're going to probably have to go to Michigan. And that shit is Penn State and that weather. It was 27 degrees. SMU cats look like, how you ashy. You remember the Proud Family? You remember them three sisters? They were so damn ashy they was blue. That's how ashy them SMU cats look when they was out there on the field. They were them sisters. What are they called? The Gross sisters. They look just like the Gross sisters.
Well, you again.
So ashy, you're blue.
Yeah, you're gonna have some that chase the bag. But again, and everybody brings this up about NIL. Okay, yeah, you gonna chase the bag and whatever. But here's the thing about NIL that nobody's talking about. If you don't perform, you might get it for 1 year, but that next year you're not getting that bag.
But what if you DJ and you get to go from school and you get a bag for no matter how bad you are?
Yeah, that's true.
They try to give you a bag from school to school, but I digress on that.
DJ gonna be he gonna be a first round draft pick, man. First pick, the Dallas Cowboys select DJ.
And I hope you were talking about the supplemental draft. Not the regular draft. I hope that is the supplemental draft we are talking about.
All right, let's put a bow on this college thing, man.
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow night we got Notre Dame, Penn State, in the Orange Bowl. So I hope Notre Dame pulls this out, just because I feel like it'll be a better game against Notre Dame. Will give Texas and Ohio State a better game than Penn State would.
No, I agree with you on that. It's just for
Yeah.
historical purposes, we win kind of,
Yeah.
on that one regardless. So
And then you got Ohio State, Texas. If Ohio State play like they've been playing in the last 2 weeks, Texas is gonna get annihilated. Um,
man, where did this come from, y'all? What is that?
I have no idea,
Where
bro.
the hell that come from? Kelsey, what is this right here? Where did that come from?
I
I
have
have no idea. Odin Spear, I have no idea.
But I will say this here.
No
Now,
idea.
here's something. This is just something to think about. If Quinn Ewers goes back to Texas next year, where does Arch go? Where does Arch go?
To go elsewhere. Clemson.
Where does Arch go?
Clemson.
Yeah, he was supposed to go there this time. And then, no, and I don't know because Cade said he's coming back, right?
Kelson, you own this up. Because
paid so fast. He did it before.
Here's the thing. When he decided to go to Texas, it hurt Clemson because Clemson was in the mix. He was in the mix to go to Clemson. I don't know what made him go to Texas. I don't know why he decided to go to Texas. I know it wasn't Sark. I'll just be honest with you. It had to be something else. I know it wasn't Sark. I knew he wasn't going to go to Mississippi because he wasn't going to deal with Lane. I already knew that was never going to be a factor in it. And he wasn't going to Tennessee because I think Coach Foreman was coach then, or Pruitt, one of them. Foreman or Pruitt, one of them. I knew he wasn't going to go then. If Watchcard had still been at Duke, I believe he might have could have ended up at Duke. If Cutcliffe was still at Duke, he might have could have ended up at Duke. But Dabo was the number 2 pick besides going to Texas. So if Quinn Ewers goes back to school for one more year, Arch very well could. He say he's not going in the portal, but Arch very well could go in the portal in the spring.
What do you think about him going to North Carolina on the Belichick?
Woo! Wait, today, there's news. They signed the top transfer portal quarterback today.
Who we got?
North Carolina?
Yeah, he from UConn, something from let me yeah. So he was they signed the top transfer portal quarterback today. Not saying that as soon as Archie go in, he won't be the top transfer quarterback, but they did make a commitment today to that kid. Yeah. Yeah.
And also to follow up on that, we had talked about this a couple of weeks ago. North Carolina's trying to change their NIL rules, not only just for football, but so the rest of the basketball can get right. So if they make the changes, I think that'll put them squarely in play for anybody at that point. Because North Carolina has resources, y'all. It just, I don't understand. Even when North Carolina, even in some of the years, I never understood why North Carolina isn't a better football program than what it is. I understand it's a basketball school, but knowing just the caliber of player that's in the state of North Carolina, they should be a much better place. North Carolina puts out players like South Carolina puts out players. So it's not like they ain't able to be there.
I think what your state concentrates on is what the kid or what they go about and doing. And like if you look at that area where old boys from Stackhouse and them, all of them are NBA players from this small ass town. Yeah. And so they breed and I think with North Carolina, it's more because the focus is there as the state that the football players feel they are second as opposed to first. And then they start looking at these out of state kind of opportunities. But with Belichick, hell, everything is in state at that point and everything it kind of comes in play. But that's what I think happens because if you think about North Carolina high school football, you hear about it, but not to the extent like we have in Georgia, South Carolina. It's not like that. And because you get towards that Virginia area where, YouTube has a great video on outside of Penn State, the death of high school and college football from pretty much the top of North Carolina up through Virginia, where they don't even really pay attention to it or care about it at all. And it was based on the way the university systems were set up. I'm going to send it to you in the YouTube link. It is a crazy thing, but they're for them, it's baseball and all the pro teams. college and high school, they don't care about.
Well, but if you think about it, though,
like me for my first 12 years in Maryland, right? It was all about the Orioles and the Bullets or the Knicks. As far as football, nobody in the Northeast really is not the University of all of those schools. They just not. It's basketball.
Well, if you think about it, though, in Virginia, around Hampton Roads, Norfolk, Tidewater, Richmond, the Michael Vick, Allen Iverson, Ronald
Bruce,
Curry.
What's my linebacker from defensive end from Buffalo Bills back in there? Bruce
Smith.
From that area too.
Well, but see, back then Virginia Tech wasn't what they were. Michael Vick is really what put Virginia Tech on the map.
But now if you go look, T, that is not coming from there, and that is not the focus of that area anymore.
Well,
it's music now.
It's music.
and music. And like I said, and because the Yankees and the Mets, and at a certain point and the Orioles and those Northeast baseball teams had so much gravity because the Yankees still outdo the football teams on games in that area. And the same thing with the Red Sox. And so what you see is their focus is the Giants, the Jets, and the Patriots. Boston College and all that.
They're never going to be that.
Those Northeast spots are more academically, they don't really put any investment, nor is the high school program, because in Baltimore, for instance, it was all about Dunbar and the basketball and feeding them to Georgetown.
Dunbar.
It was never, you would never really, nobody ever went to a high school football game on a Friday. But you talking about when Muggsy Bogues and them played, they packed, and Reggie Jackson and all them gyms stayed packed.
Well, but now that, basically since Coach Thompson is no longer at Georgetown, it doesn't matter. Maryland, the worst thing Maryland did, and Maryland don't want to admit it, was
leave us
to the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Maryland destroyed everything they could have had if they would have stayed in the ACC. But Maryland wanted the money. So guess what? You got the money. You irrelevant. And you never gonna be relevant again.
Totally.
You did that to yourself. And I hope, everybody pay that some attention. You destroyed. When we grew up, Maryland was just as big as North Carolina, just as big as Virginia, just as big as Duke, because it was Maryland.
Yeah.
Now,
you don't hear about it.
We don't even bring Maryland up.
Nope.
Nobody even watches them when they play on TV because it's not the same. You don't get
Gary Williams, last coach anybody cared about?
Yeah, and he was still in ACC. It don't matter.
Well, Dixon, that was the last player I remember.
Yeah,
I don't remember outside of one. I can't even remember a player now from Maryland.
Yeah, but remember when we were younger, Keith Gatlin.
Oh, all of them.
All of them. All of them cats was what. They was just as big as Michael Jordan, James Worthy. And Maryland don't have that now. The best program at Maryland right now is women's basketball. That ought to tell you something right there. That's the best program they got. All right, let's go to the NFL. Kelsey, what y'all gonna do with Mike McCarthy, man? Why y'all ain't let him go talk to the Bears?
Because Jared being petty. He stopped Cooper Rush from getting his money. He gonna stop Mike from getting his opportunities.
That was
I'd be mad about that there. All you had to do was let me play a quarter. I could have got $500,000, bro. I'm mad. If I'm Cooper Rush, get up out of there.
I didn't know anything about that.
Jared,
That's what Jared said.
You the GM.
You the GM, though. You the GM.
How you don't know about that?
Hey, let me get that look like
it's starting to turn into Keystone Cops. The children's story Slick Rick video. You got cop chasing kids, And that's exactly what it's like. That cop that runs around in the Slick Rick children's story video is what the Cowboys look like they're going through right now.
Well, the problem is, like I was telling Antonio the other day in the thread, Jerry cares more about revenue than hardware. Jerry's got everything at his disposal he's got all the attention on him now. If he would just step back, get out of the way, get a GM in there that actually knows football, that can run things, in a couple of years, he could turn that around to a winning organization, but he'll never get out of the way. You think about every team that's totally rebuilt since Jerry started with Mike McCarthy and his I think they didn't make the playoffs first year, won 5 games. Then you had consecutive 12-win seasons. And it's been the case with all your coaches except for his son, Jason Garrett. But you had you had plays where everybody, I mean, you had chances, but he just will not get out of the way. To get some success, he takes credit for it. If something goes bad, he's always in the locker room. He's everywhere he doesn't need to be. But besides that, I mean, there's the richest franchise in all the sports. They get media attention no matter what. All he has to do is just humble himself and step out of the way and let somebody come in and run this thing the right way. But when he got rid of Jimmy Johnson in Jimmy Johnson stepped away in 93, I think it was. 94, yeah. That was it. That was the end of it. And I saw the writing on the wall.
There's one addition. He became superhuman to himself. I call it the Fron Bob's Burger, self-certified.
Yeah.
When he won that Super Bowl with Oklahoma,
Barry Switzer. Yeah.
He just on him that day right there, he became self-certified superhuman. And he I can do this regardless. And that to me started this whole tumbling down. Yep.
And it's down too. You ain't gonna lie, it's down.
It's down. Well, I mean, the money's there, but he doesn't care about the hardware. As long as the Cowboys are making money, that's all he cares about. He can say whatever he wants to, frame it up however he wants to. All Jerry cares about is the bottom line.
Well,
that's it.
The bottom line is there because y'all are who y'all are. Y'all still spend money on him when y'all even ain't winning. Y'all gonna spend money. Y'all gonna spend, go to the games. You gonna spend to buy merchandise and all of this.
Tour.
Yeah, that's what they gonna do. Yeah. But I'm just gonna say now, one thing I wish y'all would do is somebody please keep a microphone out of Michael Parsons' face, bro. Cause God, dog, he is ridiculous, man. He said today, y'all going to the Super Bowl. I don't know if him and Skeet been smoking together or sitting together or what.
I'm about to say, man, I take that same
because Skeet say that mess every year.
Yeah.
Michael might going to the Super Bowl next year. He just won't be in Dallas when he do it. I don't see him signing back with Dallas. I just don't see it. If he was smart, he wouldn't.
You think he gonna walk away from that money?
And you think Dallas? Remember, NFL is root. You got a franchise tag. You think Dallas is gonna let him walk away from Dallas? I don't think Jerry's gonna let Michael walk.
Well, no, so he's a Dallas.
Whether he thinks so or not, for 2 years, even after that, you can be franchised. So I know he'll be franchised the first time. It is very, financially, but y'all got the money. He's never going to leave because he won't be able to just because the way the system in the NFL is set up. He will be franchised tag.
Well, here's going to be the sticking point right here. If he franchises Michael, what tag is he going to put him on? Because are you going to franchise him as a linebacker or are you going to franchise him as a DN?
Whichever one because less money.
He going to go linebacker, and that's going to piss everybody off because of the fact he should be on the DM, on the defensive end money. But Jerry going to put him on the linebacker. And I think it's about $15-20 million difference in linebacker and defensive end salary cap franchise tag. And that's
they're gonna have to go to arbitration for that one, dog.
That's what's gonna start the problem.
Remember when they I forget who it was? They tried to make him designate tight end instead of wide receiver, and they had to go to arbitration. You know how they do in baseball. That is going to be a big deal.
That's going to be a mess.
You on to something? Never thought about that. That's going to have to probably be worked out in that whole arbitration thing they got because I can see Jerry doing that.
Yeah, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. You already know he's gonna do it because here's the thing, and nobody's gonna talk about this part. Jerry's paying top end money to CeeDee Lamb. He's paying top end money to Dak. Okay, he cannot pay top end money because I think franchise tag should be about 35, 38, somewhere in there for top end, top defensive end. He ain't trying to do that. He ain't trying to do that.
Yeah. And I think Michael might do something because Michael is a Cowboy.
Yeah, but now if he was smart, I would take less money anyway. I would take a good deal. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking no penny in it. I'll take a good deal because Michael can make money off the field.
Yes.
You know,
and that's why the franchise tag to me for him ain't bad because he's still good. He's gonna be paid more than anybody at the position.
Yeah.
And he's gonna have money anyway because all these off the field things. He doesn't really need a contract from football. And the amount of money you would get paid in that 1 year off of Fred, and it's guaranteed against injury and everything.
Yeah.
That's a pretty lucrative deal, man.
It's a lucrative deal, but you look at it from a business standpoint, that's $120 million in 3 players.
Yeah.
Not to mention Trayvon, his deal.
He ain't getting top corner. I wouldn't give him top corner money.
But he just signed for like what, 9 something million?
He did 93. I think he did 93 that last go round. But I wouldn't give him top tier corner money.
And top tier corner money, corner as well, ain't the same to me no more. I don't know, I don't know if you need a lockdown corner like that. I don't even believe in that being a thing anymore. So
you need a good
do
safety.
You really want to invest in that when you can invest in the system? You know what I mean? Like you invest in getting everything in the right place. So you don't need like that kind of individual Trayvon Diggs talent. It's a collective. That's what I'm saying.
Well, the only place Trayvon can get that type of money is Dallas, because even if he left and decided to go to the Commanders, and I'm just saying that because of Dan Quinn, you ain't getting that type of money because that's not Dan Snyder anymore. No. That's Harris. Harris ain't giving out contracts like that. You're gonna have to show that you deserve that money for Harris, because he already got a headache in basketball because Embiid don't deserve nothing. Leave it at that.
Yeah.
Move to the Steelers. Watch out. Let me go. First of all, I support Future 100%. Russ is cooked. Okay. The only thing Russ can do consistently is make Sierra pregnant. All right. He has no more,
Or lose games.
He has no more football ability. I'm just telling you, the only thing he do good in life is be with Sierra. He don't play football well. He doesn't make good decisions. He holds on to the football. And here's the thing, Mike, I love you to death. You are I believe you are one of the great coaches in the NFL. But your decision making sometimes leaves a lot to be lacking. You're gonna mess around and they're gonna fire you because you are too loyal. You are loyal to a fault. I have said this all year. I hate Terrell Austin as defense coordinator. He don't call Steeler football. Steeler football is about blitzing. Why the devil do we most of the time play on the back end zone and can't cover in zone? But we still do it anyway. People running wide open all the time. It's almost like these fellas don't know where they're supposed to be. I wonder why. Then on top of that, you got one of the most dominant pass rushers in the league. Why is he dropping in coverage? Please tell me why. He would do it maybe once or twice a game. I see it happening too much and in critical situations. The middle, we haven't had a middle linebacker since LaVon Kirkland left. We need middle linebackers. We are struggling in the middle. We need a big boy in the middle. You need a Sam Adams, a Casey Hampton, a Tony Saragusa type to be in the middle if you're going to play the 3-4. I love Cam Hayward, but Cam Hayward is not on that level. He's a good end in the 3-4. He does not need to be over the center at all. Okay? Then offensively, George Pickens, shut your mouth. Your job is to catch footballs, not let them go straight through your hand. And then when they tell you ran the wrong route, you get mad because somebody tried to tell you something and then you don't run the route. We could have won at least 2 of these games. And instead of going to Baltimore Saturday, we would be home in Heinz Field. And I ain't calling it no Aquasure because that ain't what it is. It's Heinz Field. But you're going to keep on. George Pickens need to go. You need to get rid of Terrell Austin. You need to find an offensive coordinator. Byron Leftwich is out there. He can call a decent offense. Eric Bieniemy is out there. He can call a decent offense.
You got Arthur Smith, right? Arthur Smith, right? That's what you got.
Arthur Smith ain't did nothing. He got more talent than he had. He had a whole talent last year with the Falcons.
Who is the offensive coordinator? Who is your offensive coordinator?
Arthur Smith used to be used to be the OC in Tennessee, head coach in Atlanta. It's just pitiful. Man, all I'm saying is this here. I hate to say this here. Huh?
Go get Jim Bob and quit playing, man. Get Jim Bob.
I would take Jim Bob Cooter right now, man. I would. I'd take anybody but what I got, because I'm telling you, what I got right now ain't nothing. And here's the thing. I have no hope that we gonna win Saturday at all. If they beat the Ravens, it would be because Lamar has stunk up the field. It ain't gonna be because of nothing we did. It will be because Lamar decided, oh, I'm just gonna throw the ball willy-nilly. I ain't even gonna try to run. I ain't gonna get the ball to Derrick Henry. That is the only way we're gonna lose. I win that game on Saturday night. Might very well Sunday morning could be fired, because you're not gonna tell me only way Mike don't get fired. Mike got to get rid of the whole staff. That's the only way he don't get fired. Because what we saw last week against Cincinnati was abysmal. Why? If you got a up and coming great cornerback, Joey Porter Jr., the whole first half he's on T. Higgins. Why? When you know Jamar Chase getting the football. Why? Then once T. Higgins goes down, you put Porter and you ain't heard nothing else from Jamar Chase the rest of the game. Why? You can't do stuff like this, man. This is simple. You put your best players in position to win. You ain't doing that right now. And then you sound good. Mike, you make a hell of a sound bite. We hear that every week. Sound great. Sound like you know what you're talking about. But why we ain't putting that into action? I'm tired of hearing all this word salad and making it sound good and whatever. Where are we kicking our own butt? You're doing it.
The standard ain't the standard.
So I have a couple things there. I agree. I always said Russ holds the ball too long, but Pickens, because of the way the offense is run, if he is not dynamic, the offense is not dynamic. So he can't be dropping the ball the way he does. Secondly, I do notice that drop off, but I think in the age of so much winning by one team, we lose focus that every team is the Steelers, the other teams, not named Kansas City and not named New England. Pittsburgh is just as competitive as every other team in the NFL when you go back and look at playoff, Super Bowl wins, and all of that. We are just in a phase where we went from total domination to, again, total domination. We went from Tom Brady and we think that magic can somehow be recreated and all of that. But with all of the teams, if you go back and look, yes, they've messed up. But if you go and check and go back and look at the wins and how things are, they are doing just like pretty much every other football team is doing. Secondly, Mike Tomlin will lose the Pittsburgh job when he is ready to leave. They'll never fire him. They will not fire. Matter of fact, I am willing to put some dollars on that. No matter how the outcome of the season, I do think, though, that they should go get Byron Leftwich. They may talk to him about changes. No way is Mike Tomlin getting fired. And I'm willing to put some dollars, like where them dollars at. I'm ready to do some gangster boo on that. I am really ready to gangster boo that one, because that ain't happening. Well, he is the real HNIC. He is what Joe Clark was describing. They don't do that. And he's not, like I said, where them dollars at? Gangster boo this one.
Remember now, Crazy Joe got put in jail.
Tomlin ain't going nowhere, T. Well, y'all can be mad and you can do this, but he is not.
I'm telling you like this.
Leave the Pittsburgh Steelers until he is good and ready to leave.
I'll tell
That's
you
just
like
going to
this.
be the thing.
If Mr. Dan was still alive and still running the Steelers, I would say he's not getting fired. But Art Rooney II, young Mr. Dan, is not, I believe, gonna. I think if Mike stays, Mike got to make a lot of changes.
You
And
like
like I said,
Leftwich, though. I love because Leftwich was part of the Tampa staff that won the Super Bowl.
well,
They
it's
give
not
all
just
the
that.
credit to the coach. Damn it,
Todd Bowles,
no, the coach.
oh boy, your coach. He was
Pittsburgh
our offensive
Cowboys.
coordinator. Yeah, he was our offensive coordinator.
Yeah, so they give all the credit to
Raheem.
him in that run. But Leftwich was really calling the plays. So
Well,
I do agree. Leftwich would be a great pickup.
I either say him or the enemy. Just from the standpoint they are available and you ain't got to wait on. Both of them don't have a job right now.
So
you ain't got to
what's
wait
the
on.
enemy, fellas? Is it because black coaches are getting jobs? What is it? His inner? What do you guys think it is when he goes to interview? Because I can't say the league is not hiring. So what is it with him that you think happens when he gets interviewed?
The word with the enemy is he don't interview well, and that's part of it. Then the other part of it is that he's hard on players because he's a former player. So he is excessively hard. And they say now it worked with Mahomes. Honestly, I believe if the Chiefs don't win the Super Bowl, he's going back to be the offensive coordinator. Because Andy didn't have to worry about his offense. His offense stinks now because Matt Nagy is calling the plays again. So you can tell the difference between Bieniemy calling plays. You can tell the difference between Matt Nagy calling the plays. But if I'm Mike, and it's an arms race right now because, okay, you're going to have to, Mahomes ain't going nowhere. You got another 7-8 years of Mahomes. You got another 7-8 years of Herbert. You got another 7-8 years of Lamar. You know, another 7-8 years of Josh Allen. You got to score. And the thing that I think disappoints Steelers fans so much is the defense is not where it used to be. Where you used to be scared to play Pittsburgh. You're not scared anymore to play Pittsburgh. You look forward to playing Pittsburgh just because of how we play defense now. You got to get back to that.
A lot too. So you can't hit people like you used to.
Well, the thing is, though, even we adapted when we got to the point where you couldn't hit nobody no more. We not blitzing.
Ryan Clark.
Well, not Ryan Clark, but I mean, you got to figure we don't have. And granted, we had great players. Don't get me wrong, but we also had a great defensive coordinator. You know, we don't have that. Terrell Austin is not on the same level as Dick LeBeau. Okay, and it shows clearly. It shows because we're not the same defensively. But you have enough people that have played that scheme because you got to remember you still playing the 3-4. The only two teams that can play the 3-4 adequately is a Bill Belichick coach team or a Steeler team. They the only two that played the 3-4 correctly, okay? The Ravens, they basically line up in a 3-4, but the Ravens morph to a 4-3 depending on what they do. But you see how long it took before the Ravens start playing decent defense this year. So that's the thing.
Does the Cowboys play 3-4? Y'all play 3-4 right now.
Cowboys play a 4-3.
Oh,
no, they're trying to go to 3-4, but
because I thought Micah was when I see them lined up.
Well,
I see them lined up in 3-4. I don't know. Maybe just that's
well. Micah lines up because they have the flexibility. Micah can play 5 different positions in the 3-4. That's why, because they're moving the middle linebacker. If they can expose the middle of somebody, they can do that. But see, again, that comes from coaching. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, wouldn't bother me if you went and got Wade Phillips to be defense coordinator right now because I know he can coach.
Yeah,
right now.
He can.
Right now, Terrell Austin cannot coach. That's my biggest issue with the Steelers. And I'm speaking for Steeler Nation on this here. It's not the point of we are tired of you haven't won a playoff game the last 5 times you've been in the playoffs. That's unacceptable for the Steelers, especially when a couple of those times you've been a high seed, not just a low seed. You've been a high seed a couple of those times, and you haven't been able to do anything. So, and then what we see, especially like this year, you were riding high early in the season. Now, I knew when we got to December, I knew after Thanksgiving, the schedule was going to get terrible because nobody played a tougher schedule than us down the stretch. But at the same time, things just got away from. So you mean to tell me you couldn't play Baltimore better than you did because you beat them the first time? You couldn't play Baltimore better? You couldn't play Cincinnati better because you beat them the first time? It just fell apart, man. And it's continuing to fall apart. He goes and loses. This will be 6 straight playoff losses for the Steelers. That is unacceptable. And that's the thing.
What's going on with the run game, though?
Najee Harris got 1,000 yards. So what? That's the weakest 1,000 yards I ever seen in my life, bro.
It's the explosiveness.
Quiet.
It's the weak. It's weak. That's why if you actually pay attention to Steelers football, Jaylen Warren gets more carries than Najee Harris.
He does, yeah.
Because Jaylen Warren runs with authority.
And also for that run game to work with Najee, though, there needs to be some passing to open it up because it doesn't open up if you have nothing. And like I said, when you don't have Pickens, I don't know how Pickens comes right after Antonio. You know, it's Antonio Brown and Pickens, but like I said, you got to have at least something.
Because we get these fools. All we got is fry move, bro. That's all we got. That's all we got. Fry move. And the thing is, Russ don't like to throw the ball over the middle of the field. Okay, you can't win like that in the NFL, bro. If you can't throw over the middle, everything can't be outside the numbers, especially when you ain't got no speed burners.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know,
and I think one of the things is I think you guys will get that just in the draft. I think that's the first thing you guys.
No, we this offensive line.
Y'all need some dynamicism in the offense.
There you go. Yeah.
There's a kick returner, you know, even with Turpin.
What did you just say?
They need something to make the fans like excited, like some offensive. Like you got to have a person that when they touch the ball, a home run might happen. And right now, I don't see that.
But we never gonna get that though. And see, here's the other issue. And I've told Kelsey this before. When you pick 22, 23, 24, 25 every year, you ain't getting nobody. You're getting a solid player, but you ain't getting nobody dynamic.
But you know how Kansas City found Worthy. You know how these other teams find these one speedster that, you know, if they touch the ball, now I'm not saying, but it's excitement that can happen, 1 or 2 mixed tackles. One person, like I say for my team, Bucky Irvin is 2 missed tackles away from a touchdown every time he touches the ball. I didn't know any about this. I watched Oregon, but outside of Daniels, Washington's quarterback who we happen to play, he's second to me in Rookie of the Year. Any missed tackle, you about to watch some magic may happen. So that's what I'm saying. That's something to get you excited.
Yeah, but you got to understand.
And Turpin does that for me for Dallas because at any time Turpin can break and it might be off to the races.
Well, but you got to also understand.
But Turpin, the only reason why I don't get too excited with Turpin because if Turpin takes off, somebody's gonna hold block in the back. Something.
Every time. That's what y'all do.
Yeah,
most of the time it's coming back.
But I will say this though. The difference between what y'all got and what we got, you gotta understand. Offensive minded coaches gonna get people to go help his offense first. Andy Reid went and got Worthy. He knew he needed to replace the cheetah. Mike McCarthy went and got Turpin after they saw him play in the USFL. He knew what was gonna be what. Mike is not going to get no wide receiver that's go. We ain't had a speedy wide receiver since Mike Wallace left.
And another thing I tell them, I don't know what's going on, but go get you a UW wide receiver. I don't know what it is about the University of Washington wide receivers. Another one. These people, Bucky Irvin, 4th round pick, McMillan, the UW wide receiver, 2nd round pick. I'm just saying, those you just kind of find a gem and just kind of go with it. And
but these are cats.
Needs to be some excitement. Is all.
These are cats that play in wide open offenses. That's
Yeah.
not what we drafted. That's the difference. We're not drafting nobody. George Pickens played at Georgia. That's not a wide open offense.
But he has the ability though to create separation.
He has the ability, but you know what his biggest problem is? He think he's great.
Yeah.
He think he's great.
He want to wrestle.
No, he think he's great. He thinks for some reason, and maybe it's the culture in Pittsburgh right now, but for some reason, these last few wide receivers are just divas, man. And I'm like, bruh, you can't be diva level unless you putting up numbers.
He reminds me so much of Aqib Talib. They get so triggered by the slightest shit. And next thing you know, it's ballistic. They're not listening no more for the game. He and Talib, they just remind me so much of each other. Yep.
All right. Let's jump to the Panthers. I was impressed.
Yep.
Toward the end of the year. Bryce Young is gonna be a player. The Panthers got some work to do. Canales proved to me that he a pretty decent coach. They got to get some players, but from what I saw from the middle of November on, they got a shot to win the division next year. I'm just gonna go and put it out there. If they get the right players,
they have a shot this year.
If they got the right players, they're gonna be something to deal with next year. They honestly are, and I hope you noticed this year you hadn't heard a lot from Tapper at all. I'm hoping Dan Morgan is running the show, and I'm hoping that the biggest thing they need right now, they first pick ought to be defense. I don't care where, linebacker preferably, but they first pick need to be defense. They second pick need to be O-line. I like the young core receivers. Now they ain't dynamic, but they play hard. You ain't got to go get no crazy speedster yet. Just work on the fundamental parts. Get yourself in the right situation.
You think they'll land T? Or he'll stay?
That's the one that would, if I was them and I know I got that much money for the salary cap, I go get T. I do not believe Cincinnati is gonna bring him back. Cincinnati too cheap. Now they should. Don't get me wrong. Cincinnati need to bring him back because him and Chase is dynamic together. But if they don't, I break my neck because there's only 3 places T is going to end up. He's either going to be in Carolina, Atlanta, or Tennessee. That was the only 3 places. Now, you go to Tennessee, his career is over.
Yeah.
You go to Tennessee, his career is over.
He don't want to go there.
He don't want to go there. But if you go to Atlanta, that's a bright star. If you go to Carolina, that's a bright star.
Well, who would be the X there, though? London or Higgins?
Keep London at the X. Keep London at the X. Let him play the Y.
Yeah, because you signed London for X money, Dave.
Yeah, because you let Moody play the Z. You let Moody play the Z. You let T play the Y. And then
scary, though.
The question gonna be, do you keep Kyle Pitts or let him walk? I let him walk because you can find a tight end.
Yeah,
I let him walk. He ain't living. He ain't living up.
With that talent in that backfield, you probably I'll play tight end,
bruh. But here go the thing. Here go the thing though. Just like Sunday, okay. Algiers was running the ball good, not taking nothing from him. He was running the ball good. But when Bijan got back in there, they couldn't stop him. And I'm like, what are you doing? Bijan running the football. Bijan is a superstar. Bijan is a poor man Saquon. I'll just leave it at that. Poor man Saquon. And the thing about it is, and this goes into the Falcon discussion, Raheem Morris is a terrible coach, man. He's a terrible coach. I'm not trying to denigrate another brother, but I'm just going to be real. It is malpractice what you have done this year for the Atlanta Falcons. You have swept the division champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and you still didn't win the division. because you stayed with Kirk. Kirk cold chains too long. Michael Penix come in there and look like a superstar. Michael Penix should have been playing from the start of the year.
Now,
if you go play the way that he played down the stretch.
Yeah.
Now, I understand money was tied up in this and whatever, but at the same time, you had to know something for you to go pick. Now, here's the thing. Now, the Falcons fell into Michael Penix. Let's be real about this here. They fell into Michael Penix because the Giants were supposed to take a quarterback, but they took Malik Neighbors. If the Giants would have took Penix, nothing would have been said. Okay? But because he fell to the Falcons and somebody in that organization was smart enough to say, hey, let's get him now versus letting him, because if he would have slid, he wasn't going to be there. He would have got past the Falcon pick. He wasn't going to be there because I have seen enough of Michael Penix in the last 6 years to let you know this boy can play quarterback.
Well, yeah.
And he has showed this in his limited time playing at the end of this year. This boy he threw that pass he threw Sunday to Drake London for that. No, the week before when he hit Kyle Pitts. Bruh, that's Michael Vick without the running. He can't run, but that's Michael Vick.
Yeah,
that pass was so good to hit Kyle Pitts for that touchdown. And then for you to go out there and blow the game because you didn't call timeout. Bruh. And then the other part, now, unfortunately, the Falcons lost Younghoe Coop. That boy that they had kicking for him the last of the year, that boy shouldn't even had a job, man. That boy's sorry. He missed field goals against Washington, and then he missed 2 Sunday against the Panthers. And you needed to win that game, man. Even if you needed to win that game and you blew the game. And it's just like, Raheem, you've been a head coach before. This ain't your first go round, bro. But you can't do those type of things and make those type of decisions and think you're going to keep your job long term.
And see, that's why I'm torn with Raheem, because before this little streak of success the Bucs have had, he was the last coach to ever win a record. Remember, 10-6. So I remember he coached the hell out of that team, lost his job in favor of the Rutgers dude, Schiano, and that was a disaster. And that was a disaster. Greg Schiano. Yeah, and that started until he settled on Bruce Arians. That's the name.
They finally came to you're
right. And then they finally settled on it. But yeah, that's why I saw like I agree with you. That was bad. But I don't know. I've seen him do one season create this, kind of miracle at 10-6 for that sorry team, and then this year fumble the bag for the talent that he had. So what is it? Is he that or is he that? And is Atlanta afforded the time to figure that out? Is their window immediate, or is their window time enough to figure out what Raheem Morris they get, is what I'm trying to say.
I think it's more immediate because you look at the defensive side. Offense is good, but the defensive side, they got to do something now because they get long in the tooth. They spent a lot of money on defense last couple of years just to try to have something tangible. But so that one is probably going to be immediate.
Yeah.
If not next year, they may move on.
You got an $80 million cornerback, man. But you got lit up. Terrell. $80 million.
That is right. Yeah.
Yeah, he $80 million. And you got lit up Sunday. By no names, because Leggett didn't play Sunday for the Panthers. All it was Adam Thielen and the Simon boy, the tight end. That's all it was.
Leggett didn't play?
No, he started the game, but he got hurt.
Yeah.
He started the game.
That's what I thought.
So all of that was basically with number 83. I forgot what his name is, but he's a little young fella too. Man, he ain't had no receivers. He was tearing them up. And I'm like, Raheem, and see, this is the other part of malpractice. Raheem, you are a defensive minded coach. Your defense should never look stank. Your defense should never look stank.
No, and it's actually a pretty decent defense.
Right. And that's what I'm saying.
Yep.
And that's what I'm saying. You cannot do that. and think you're gonna keep the job, bro.
I want to speak on my team who's in the playoffs.
Go ahead, bro.
Play the Commanders, a rematch of the first game of the season, which was a great game. I remember that was the first time you guys allowed me and blessed me to be on 44 Stack, and we talked about that. So, and like I said, that let me know that that is a beast. He is the truth, and he's way ahead of schedule. I see a great game. I think we can eke this one out based on him being a rookie. And even if he loses, he doesn't lose because he's way ahead of schedule. I mean, he has many years left to be, barring injury, all that, knock on wood, to be in the playoff. So he is on, and also as the playoff progresses, the two best teams, the Bucs have actually beat in the regular season, which was Detroit and Philly. They have already beat both of those teams at their places. Beat Detroit at Detroit and beat Philly at Philly. So I don't expect, like I say, my Bucs team is a team that I'm expecting one playoff win. And when you can shine, you shine and try to get it. But I am kind of interested to see if the way the bracketing and the seeding is, can it be favorable for a small run up to the conference championship at least? But we'll see.
Who do the Rams have first? They play the Eagles, right?
Got Minnesota.
Minnesota. I think Rams beat Minnesota. Yeah.
And I would love Minnesota. I still don't believe in Minnesota.
Sam Darnold picked the wrong night to turn into Sam Darnold. I thought the first time when they played in Minnesota, that was a better game. Detroit just, you know what? It's hard to root against Detroit because
I know, man. They came with fire, and that's the one thing why Minnesota I would like the good matchup because he sucks against the blitz, and Bo he'll dial it up.
Yeah,
and the run, we have a person, and like you said, T, we are fortunate to have a 400-pound behemoth in the middle that you ain't running on. I mean, the cat is single-handedly. I mean, he just grabbed folks. So that is what I see. I don't know, but we'll see.
Well, here's the thing. The only thing that could probably cause y'all some problem is if Baker go Baker. That's the only problem.
And there's two ways. That part or the spaz out, got to get the first down, Baker. Because I do like that one. I mean, what Kels, I think you said it. Scatterboo was concussion, a walking concussion.
Walking concussion.
I'll text on the thing. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Baker will become a walking concussion, and he don't give a damn. And sometimes you need that. It's still, but then he might become what you said, T. The next 3 passes and 3 pick sixes.
Yeah, and see that's the only thing. I feel like Tampa Bay should beat Washington, but I have pause just because big games, Baker, all the way back to college, big games, Baker goes Baker. At some point during the game, Baker's going to throw. He's going to go Jameis. And once he goes Jameis, he ain't coming back. He gone, y'all.
Well,
he gone.
Hopefully they have a big enough lead that it won't matter.
And we're encouraging the new offensive coordinator because the coming of age of Bucky Irvin and this Gage dude. Because White is gone. White has lost his job. He
lost his job. He won't get back on the field no more.
So they have been more and more relying on that run game because I didn't know. I kind of watched it, but man, that cat, you miss a tackle on Bucky Irvin, it's at least 8 yards. And I didn't know he was that. Yeah.
I'm going to say this, though, and it going to sound crazy because it sounds crazy in my mind right now. It's going to be hard to go to Detroit and win a game, though, bro.
Definitely. Oh, yeah.
It's going to be hard.
We might not even make it there today.
Here's the thing. It's hard for me. I thought when Hutchinson went down, Detroit ain't going to be there. Detroit killing people, man.
They went and got some dudes off 8 Mile because if you look at that roster, I think they showed a couple of weeks ago. Everybody hurt.
And Montgomery's supposed to be back.
The street.
Bruh, they killing people. The way they played Sunday night, I know Sam Darnold thought, man, they got 12, 14 people out here because ain't no way. I got max protection. He had max protection, bro, and they was killing him. I'm like,
what's Forrest Whitaker on Fast Times at Ridgemont High when he found out he wrecked his car? Oh, that's them. That's them all day, every day, all day.
Yep.
He just went
Yep.
ham on everybody.
Yep.
All right, let's run
They
through
will
this right
pump you,
quick.
man. You mess around, you got get beat. You get beat.
Yeah, and see, and that's the other thing. And he don't care. He don't get. He go for 4th down. I'm on the 10. I'm on my own 10-yard line. We going.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
And man, when they tackle, man, they come with them Nikita Koloff.
you trying to hurt somebody, boy.
They make you flip. They make somebody Nikita made you flip with that Russian slip.
Yeah.
They make you flip.
They are like what you. They like remember the Titans when he told them don't let them score, and that's how they play.
But then you look at it too, because you take that hit that Gibbs took when Van Ginkel got him or whatever.
Yeah, when Van Ginkel got him.
That was almost Reggie Bush like.
And Sheldon Brown.
Plays, yeah. 1-2 plays, he came back, man. He went off 4 touchdowns. I mean,
bruh.
That's crazy.
Bruh, they are. I can't even put into words what they are because it's almost like you look at.
They are revenge porn.
They are.
Yeah.
That's the best way to put it, Dave. Yes.
They revenge porn.
Because it's almost like somebody pissed in their water jug and they said, okay, y'all want to play like this here? All right.
Team full of water boys. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. 11 Bobby Bouchers. That's how they play. Offense 2.
No, 22. 22. That's it. All of them. Well,
all right.
21
we had some folks get fired this week. Raiders shouldn't have fired Antonio Pierce because he ain't had nothing to work with. Patriots shouldn't have fired Jared Mayo. That
not when you picked him. That's the problem I got with that.
You
handpicked the man that you fired. Yeah.
He had nothing to work with. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Jaguars should have fired Doug Peterson.
The ball from the Giants should have been fired.
Oh, Dayball should have gone. I don't even know why they keep him.
Dayball, yeah.
That didn't make sense. I don't even know why they're keeping him. The Titans fired Rand Carthon, but gonna keep Callahan as the coach. That don't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Rand Carthon took over a bad organization who decided they wasn't gonna spend money. You got rid of Vrabel and brought in this cat. You got rid of AJ Brown, didn't replace him. You didn't let Derrick Henry walk out the building, didn't replace him. What are you supposed
to do? They replaced him, but he left too. They replaced AJ with D-Hop, but D-Hop left too.
But again, what are you not bringing nothing to the table?
No.
And we still, the Bears, Jets, Saints still need to find coaches. So this is gonna be interesting.
Bears and the Bears are exposing chaos. Looks like the Cowboys incompetency because he obviously can coach because it's a team that wants him, but he sits on this proverbial hot seat in Dallas. And so to me, that is low-key like exposure because you're like, you don't know what to do with him. But we who separate our ownership and our GM structure, we can do things with him.
Well, Jared's got another week. Jared's got a week to decide. So in about 5 or 6 days, he's going to come back and say we're going to keep Mike McCarthy one more time.
He has to keep him now.
Oh, he got to keep him now since you didn't let him go.
Y'all just didn't grant him the interview. So how you fire a man? And if I'm McCarthy, I'm suing because a team asked for an interview from me. You denied that interview, and now you're going to fire me? Oh, man. And back to Martin's lawyer, I can do for use because that is the case.
For the 2 youths.
Yeah.
Look here. My thing with Mike McCarthy is this. I think he would have worked in Chicago. He would have worked good in Chicago. Because he would have found a defensive coordinator that was worthy of being a defensive coordinator, and he would have brought Caleb Williams along. That's a bad move on Jared's part. And that's going to make people not want that job. Well, ain't nobody want that job, no way. But
that's what I'm saying.
I mean, but if you fire Mike when his contract is up next week, Jared wrong.
And Jerry gets sued. I am telling you now, that's double jeopardy.
Jared wrong.
And you have denied me my opportunity to make a living.
Right. All right. So Wild card weekend starts on Saturday at 4:30. We got Chargers and Texans. I believe the Chargers are moving on. What do y'all think?
Yep.
Sure, I agree.
Yep.
Then Saturday night, we got Ravens Steelers. I would be more excited if I thought we could win. I don't think we can win. So
I got upset alert.
I'll run naked around this whole neighborhood if they win Saturday night. I'm gonna tell you that right now. And we supposed to have snow. Man. We supposed to have snow Friday, so I know.
Get you some good shoes, man.
Bro. They look at the only way the Steelers win this game is Lamar lose his mind and can't play. If he do like
it hasn't happened in the playoffs before.
If he do like he normally does in the playoffs and he screw the pooch, that's what it is.
There you go. Yeah.
All right. And then Sunday, we got Denver and Buffalo in the AFC. This might be interesting. This just might be interesting. Because Denver just crazy enough to go into Buffalo and win this game now.
I think Josh Allen got the cake to do it, though.
Look here.
Yeah.
Bo Nix has been impressive. He ain't Auburn Bo Nix. He's Bo Nix now.
Yeah.
He's playing like he knows how to play football.
Yeah. Well, then Denver's defense, that's gonna be the wild card.
Yeah, that's gonna be the thing. But one of the things nobody talks about, Buffalo defense stinks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nobody talks about it.
But one thing I admire about Buffalo, though, they play hard.
They might
not be the best, but they play hard.
But
that's blue collar defense.
But their defense stinks. They will give up points. This game,
they will. Yes, they do. Yes.
This game literally could be 35-31. Literally. Mm-hmm. Depending on what the weather. I gotta see what the weather is. The weather's gonna be the factor in that game.
Well, it's supposed to be like
All right.
The weather there is the weather in the South Carolina team.
It is?
Yeah, they got lake effect snow because that is the same. It's like a this thing.
It's a Josh Allen game, D. Yeah. All right. And then on Sunday we got Packers Eagles. Looking forward to that one. Don't know who gonna play. Jalen Hurts was still in concussion protocol, and Jordan Love was still iffy. Yeah. So we don't know. Yeah. Could be Malik Willis versus Kenny Pickett. Lord help us.
Yeah.
But then that becomes Saquon Barkley against the Packers. And I got Saquon.
If Kenny Pickett is quarterback, I'm putting 9 in the box. Damn them throw the football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
8:00 Sunday night. Showcase the young man who I believe going to be Rookie of the Year versus the Buccaneers. Commanders have made a tremendous. It's just good to see the Commanders. I want them to get a new name because I hate the Commanders, but
I do too.
It's just good to see them in the playoffs and actually look like a football team now. Because they were in purgatory.
And I got to eke out win. I would not be shocked if Washington wins. I got to score 24-20 Bucks.
Well,
that's what settled in my mind. I don't know why. That's where I got it. But I would not be shocked if it's the other way, 24-20.
If Jaden Daniels has the ball at the end of the game with a chance to win, the Commanders win. Yeah. But like I say, it all depends on what Baker does. If Baker plays good football, Buccaneers should win this game pretty handily. If Baker plays like I know Baker can play, he gonna screw this game.
Like the first half of the game last week. Yeah. Because he almost lost that game.
Yes,
if it wasn't
exactly
the second half, scuttle and come back.
Saints.
So you just saw it. So you're exactly right, T.
Right. Yep. Hey, been watching Baker Mayfield a long time there, bro.
Yeah.
And then Monday night we finish up Vikings Rams.
I think the Rams.
Upset alert. There you go. I'm Rams.
I feel the Rams.
They got
that's gonna be hard to swallow, Bo. You didn't won 14 games and you can't get out the first round. That's rough.
Who you beat though?
That's Andy
Dalton. Who you beat? Who you beat?
I mean,
and you've done that before. You act like Kirk Cousins wasn't the quarterback before. They've been 14 and 2 and 12 and 4 and all that shit, and they don't do nothing with him. So there you go. It's the same thing. I do not believe in Andy Dalton. I got the Rams.
Okay. Now the only thing about this is we said a couple of weeks ago if the Rams are dangerous because of Puka and Cooper Kupp. I think the winner of this game goes to, I want to say, Detroit.
Yeah, if they because they'd be the lowest remaining seed.
They the lowest remaining seed.
Yeah,
They go
that
to
is right.
Detroit.
Yeah.
Unless Commanders win.
Yeah.
Right.
If Commanders
If the
win.
Commanders win, they go to Detroit. If the
Yeah.
Buccaneers win, the Rams go to Detroit. So,
Mhm.
woo. And that's where it could get interesting because I don't want to play Detroit at all because Detroit gonna hurt somebody, man. Shoot,
Mhm.
they 22 Bobby Bouchers, bro. There's something wrong with them.
I'll go back to
And
them.
actually
They
for a
good,
Super
man.
Bowl
I tell you.
to see them
They
against
good.
Kansas City, I give Detroit the edge if they got to play Kansas City.
You don't think Andy could pull something out of his hat?
But I gotta say one thing. I'm gonna add the last caveat you did the last time, Tony. If he has the ball last, Kansas City, and they can win the game.
Yeah, they can win the game.
I can't say no until I see it not happen.
Exactly.
I know statistically now we're kind of tilting toward it happening.
Well,
not happening. You know where he screwed the pooch, what I'm saying, because it's getting to be too much success.
Well,
but Terry shows me if that game is a one possession game and he got the ball last, I can't bet against that man.
Well, I'm gonna say this here. They did something Sunday that typically they don't normally do. They didn't show up against Denver, and that's
I don't
not
even count the game.
That's not Kansas City's way, though. You know what I mean? They didn't show up at all. And
yeah, but I mean, Mahomes is gimpy. They got those, and they just getting the running back. You don't want to get him injured yet again because really just had him for the what's his name? The Beats run you over. So I'm with that one. I think they are playing the long game because remember, Mahomes and them are getting older. Yes, you can play like that when you are young and your bones heal. And what the old folk told us, you don't have bone, you got gristle. So now that gristle is turning into hard. It went from gristle to cartilage, and then it's going to be bone. And so going hard like that all the time as you get older, you just then have to start playing the long game. Like Mike said, I can't be dunking like this all the time. I got to get a J. Take a little bit off the body. That's the same thing. Mahomes ain't a spring chicken like he used to be. Well, and I think he's starting to play chess instead of checkers.
Well, here go the thing about Kansas City, period. They've been playing just enough. You know,
they only lost one game. That is incredible to me.
Yeah, just enough.
They are so much better than everybody. You can take this two ways. They have won by so much, by just enough, and 15-1, or saying they are so much better than everybody. They play like shit the whole season and still only lost one game.
Right.
That's crazy. When you think
because they
have played like shit the whole season and lost one game.
Well,
and now you get this man 2 weeks to recover.
And now everybody get to get the shots, get them ice baths, get all of this done. Yeah. And now everybody has to come to Kansas City, right? They got the number one seed.
Everybody got to go to Kansas City.
And you got to come into all that damn noise. So
3 games. That's all they need. 3 games. 3 games.
They don't need but 2. They don't need but 2.
No, I'm saying
they don't play wild card weekend.
No, I'm just saying next week, the championship and then the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it for them.
Now, I would take them as the favorite against everybody except Detroit. And the only reason I say Detroit is going to be so hyped if they make it to the Super Bowl. Now, Philly, I believe they can beat Philly because I know Sirianni will do something stupid to screw it up. But
do you think that Kansas City now being more mature, that they will use that over aggression in their favor against Detroit? As opposed to Detroit is really susceptible. One thing the way you can beat Detroit screams because they come 1,000 miles an hour. And because of that, they get susceptible to screens a lot. And I'm wondering, especially with the genius that is Andy Reid, that you see that and you start using that speed. You know how when you take speed over pursue and then you cut back, so that's what I'm interested to see. You got the genius versus the sheer out aggression that Detroit is going to bring. Even if all that happens, if that comes to fruition.
You know, one of the good things was just to be able to see them in the Super Bowl, period. Because other than the Bear Sanders years, we never really paid Detroit any attention. The Megatron year, it would be just good to see Megatron and Bear on the sideline for the Super Bowl, man. I got great respect for them too. You know,
I want the Blades. I want the Blades and Herman.
And Benny and Brian too. Yeah, you're right. They need to be there too. Yeah. All right, fellas. Great show. We'll be back after these playoff games next week, so we can get a little more in depth with this. Getting down to the nitty gritty, what we've been working toward all year. We took a little hiatus for the holidays, needed to recharge, reboot. I think we in a good spot, and we'll get ready. For those of you that are getting ready to hear She Good Peoples, it will be back later this month. We got some great topics out there. I know it, and the foolishness will be at an all-time high because the first show will be the top 10 R&B singers, and I know that's going to be a battle unto itself right there. So get ready for that. We'll get through football before we start talking about basketball. At that point, NBA should be in a better place. Right now, it's hard to watch. They got to do better. And we can talk about college basketball too. We'll be in the middle of conference season, so we'll see what's what. All right.
Yeah.
So we'll see all of you all next week. Enjoy yourselves. Thank you.
Take it easy, America.
All right.